All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday Night Racing here on the Revo Racing Network for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series here tonight at Darlington. My name is Trevor Earhart. Joining me tonight is Justice Murphy, and as always, running production is going to be Rob Rader. Tonight we bring you the KSX Racing Graphics 150 from Darlington. Justice, after a week that we weren't here for last week at Watkins Glen, we come to the track that's too tough to tame for 147 laps tonight.
Yeah, interesting week last week, Trevor. New winner again, Jeremy Burns with the win, John Fike second, Trevor Keith, Caleb Gilbert, Tyler Harrison, Kevin Orlando, Quentin Stewart, Grant Thorpe, Matt Robinson, and William Gay rounding out the top 10. We come this week to the Lady in Black, track too tough to tame, as you alluded to. These boys are going to have to run a completely different style race, very abrasive surface, even at night here. These boys are going to have a tough time managing the tires, managing the fuel, managing the tempers, and managing the track, Trevor.
Yeah, it's going to be the fun part about tonight. The 4 sets of tires for these drivers for 147 laps. It's going to make things very interesting, especially depending on how the cautions play out for them. And again, 75% fuel for these guys tonight. If you haven't been following the Coastal Financial Truck Series, they do 75% fuel, no fast repairs. 4 sets of tires, 1 stage break tonight, I believe, on lap 45. And we'd like to also thank not only KSX Graphics for jumping on for tonight's race sponsor, but also Coastal Financial and Slurp Sodas, and more for those 2 fabulous sponsors later in the race. But Justice getting ready to finish up the warm up and get to our starting grid tonight for what I think is going to be a potentially long and frustrating race for some drivers.
Yeah, there's going to be some drivers that kind of get bit by the fact that if a truck or car, I was going to say a truck tonight, isn't slow in one of the top 2 lanes, Trevor, you're not going to get a caution. So you're going to see guys spin down to the inside, multiple cars try to wreck down to the inside, and there's not going to be a caution come out. So those guys probably going to get frustrated pretty quickly. If you're somebody that maybe slows up for a wreck, you could get caught up and kind of screwed there. But we've got the starting grid up here, Trevor, and last week's winner gets it on pole this week. Michael Reed, always quick, starting to the outside of Jeremy Burns there. Clint Cox and Jack Clemens in row 2. Alex Berube and Kevin Orlando in row 3. Chris Stamper, Caleb Gilbert in row 4. Rounded out with Michael Call and John Fike in row 5 for the top 10.
There you have Grant Thorpe rolling off in 11th with William Gay. Dylan Picklesheimer will start in 13th. The return of Nick Alves is going to be in 14th position with Jake Williams in 15th. Frank Hughes will start in 16th with Kyle Diaz in 17th. Al Likens will roll off 18th with Devin Hudgens in 19th. And Justin Hughes will start in 20th.
Followed by Chris Schaefer and Jacob Serkovich in 21st and 22nd. Wayne Lowe and Dustin Adams, 23rd, 24th. Dominic Hughes in 25th. And Joseph Gendron rounding out the field in shotgun position, Trevor. No better track than this one, probably, to try to make your way from the back to the front, because you can afford to be pretty patient, let some other people run their tires off, and make your way forward if you play that strategy just right. As you alluded to, Trevor, 4 sets of tires laying plus this set you're on, 147 laps. That means you're going to have to go somewhere around 30 per set of tires. So can't just go down and fire a set on every time there's slowdown in the action. Pace car comes out. So going to be interested to see who can play this just right.
That's going to be a fun game to watch on how the strategy is going to work out. Another thing drivers are going to have to worry about: cautions around this racetrack. Sometimes, Justice, as we know, they can be pretty straightforward and pretty on point. Other times, trucks we can see spinning to the inside, no cautions called. So one thing we'll keep our eyes on as the pace car works its way through turn 3 and 4, getting ready to come to the green flag. Jeremy Burns, Michael Reed going to lead us to the start of this race. 147 laps here tonight. One stage break, lap 45. Pace car is off, waiting for that green flag to come out in the air, and Burns to get on the throttle. We'll see what chaos unfolds for tonight here for the KSX Racing graphics here tonight at Darlington. Green flag in the air. Michael Reed with a great jump over the 72 of Jeremy Burns. It's going to be a drag race into 1, and this is where things are going to get tight. You got a wide entry into turn 1, but it tightens on the exit of turn number 2. Burns right now trying to hold off that 91. He's trying to get the momentum on the outside.
Yeah, Burns kind of in the preferred lane there. You saw the 91 want to stick it down there, but now coming down to this end, the 91's going to have a massive advantage. Interested to see who can lead this first lap. As 91 of Michael Reed probably going to get a big run here. This could be a drag race to the line, a la Craven Bush. Jeremy Burns going to lead lap 1, and then he should get down here. Yep, going to clear easily into 1. So these top 4 or 5 guys kind of sorted out for the time being here, Trevor.
That was a good effort by Michael Reed to hang on to the outside for the first lap, but gives that spot up to Jeremy Burns, but not going to let Burns get too far away for Jeremy. He was fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. See how that's going to translate over to the race as we drop back into the field. It's Jake Williams, the 51 machine that we're on board with. As he's kind of in the Hornets' nest back there in 14th place. He's got Kyle Diaz, Frank Hughes, Dylan Picklesheimer around him, but Grant Thorpe, Justice in the 77 machine up here in 8th, trying to track down the 99 of Michael Call.
Yeah, kind of peeking his nose as we go back a little bit here, and you see the 65 of John Fike up in the fence in the middle of 1 and 2. Something you got to be careful of all night long, because every bit of damage you get hurts this truck on the right side. We've seen it time and time again here at Darlington in particular. Once you kind of get up in the fence, you're basically magnetized to it. So it can be a struggle with the radius of these corners to get the truck, car, whatever you're driving around here off the fence. And if you do, you've lost a ton of speed. So these guys are going to be battling the handle all night. Like we said, limited tire sets. So got to be very careful how you approach that.
Yeah, they're gonna. That's the one thing. It's not only the damage, not as resilient as the Cup car and the Xfinity car, the trucks, but you have to work the right side damage, work the right side tire wear, as well as Nick Alves all over the rear end of the 44 of William Gaze, the 24 machine, making a return back to the series after a little bit of a hiatus. Good to see Nick back out on track, and Justice trying to just get back in the groove. I know sometimes missing a couple of weeks can kind of get you out of it, but so far so good for Nick as he's up 2 spots from where he qualified.
Yeah, he'll settle in nicely. Come to expect that out of Nick if you've been around him long enough. As he continues to kind of peek his way forward, I'm sure he'll make his way into the top 10 here shortly, just knowing how Mr. Alves runs. But yeah, he kind of single filed out for the most part. We do have a little side-by-side battle as Nick into the wall there in 1 and 2 as he got to the outside of the 44. And ended up losing a spot to Dylan Picklesheimer. Like Jake Williams, Kyle Diaz, kind of get freight trained here. As he, like I said, once you get up there, you're magnetized in it. He kind of lost all of his momentum there. So very, very tough spot there. He'll have to kind of struggle his way back forward, just like he was doing right there before that happened.
Yeah, the bad part there. Lost a lot of momentum through the center of 1 and 2, and at that point, these guys still this early all closed up on one another. And loses a lot of track position, goes from 12th all the way back to 17th for Nick. So going to have to work his way back through the field. But hey, if you can save a little bit of tire right now that he's lost all that track position, save a little bit of tire here, Justice could make his way back up through the field. We'll have to see on that 24 machine how that's going to be. But you can kind of see the field spreading out right there. There's a little bit of trouble further in the back of the field. Not sure who that was, but parts flying across the back straightaway there.
Yeah, these guys, the truck's getting a little bit tougher to handle. It looks like it's maybe Christopher Schaefer's. He's in the wall again in 3 and 4. See what he does. Going to kind of have to rebound here. You got to get a full reset. Once parts start flying, he looks like he has no right side number there on the truck. Right front fender gone. So he's probably going to pull it down pit road. maybe try to get some damage repair, see if he can make his way back on track. Get a couple of cautions. All you got to do is catch the stage caution, maybe a couple more, be able to get some laps back if so needed. So I would expect him to continue his fight based off of what we've seen before. But yeah, these top 5 guys have really kind of spread it out, Trevor. At some point, some of them are going to quit playing the saving game and they're going to put the go pedal down. But I would expect these guys, Trevor, to have to pit sometime maybe around lap 39 to 40, if I just had to guess, just before the stage. So I'm interested to see how they split that up.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think you're right there before the stage break. So I mean, the question is, do you make it? Do you run this halfway to lap 20, 25 somewhere? Or do you go a little bit later and see if you get a caution during the pit cycle? Because Darlington, as unique as it is, Justice, with the drivers having to run the high line basically all the way around this racetrack, the pit lane at the very bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4, and it's not the easiest of pit lanes to get on and off of. So we could see some issues at some point if we have to make green flag pit stops.
Yeah, for as slow as you can roll down there, you don't want to lose too much time. A lot of guys are going to be cheating you there, but it can catch you very off guard. If you're coming off a 3 and 4, you kind of pull down, you can spin it pretty easily off the banking. If you get onto the flat too early, you can go up too high and just miss the entry. Kind of similar to what we saw John Hunter Nemechek do Sunday. Of course, he had 2 flat tires, so a little different, but you definitely can think of a lot of good ways to miss it, hit barrels, do everything. So we kind of preach it on every broadcast we do, but execution, when it comes down to green flag pit stops, if you got to make them, whoever executes the best typically is who wins the race.
A perfect example of executing on green flag pit stops we saw it Thursday night. The TTR short track series for their championship race at New Hampshire cost the champion, the considerable favorite, a chance at winning it with Jared Duda when he sped down pit road under green flag pit stops and gave us a wild finish in that one for the championship. If you haven't seen that, go check that replay out here on the Revo Racing Network. That was last Thursday night, but that execution definitely going to be important, Justice, basically anywhere we go when it gets to those green flag pit stops.
Well, the part that gets overshadowed about that race Thursday night, Trevor, is that the guy that won the championship, won the race, was in second coming to that green flag pit cycle and beat the leader on the pit road pitting at the same time. Made up a couple car lengths gap, got in front of him down pit road, and that ended up being probably what won him the race. Because if he would have, gotten beat on the pit road, he probably's just kind of stuck behind the guy that ended up finishing second. So very interesting, in how execution works. As we go on board here with Jack Clemens, so we see these front 5, Trevor. It's kind of like I said, eventually somebody's going to start to close in, and basically 3rd through 5th here are about 7 truck lengths apart. So these guys starting to curl up under a blanket, and this is about to get really fun as the handle goes away.
Handling starting to go away, but we jump a little bit further back in the field. Picklesheimer in the 9 machine going past the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. That's a battle for 11th and 12th. Well, it was a battle. Picklesheimer getting that position done and gone. And now here comes the 44 of William Gay looking to the inside of the 77 of Grant Thorpe. This is for 8th and 9th position. As this is about the closest battling on track, is Gay going to look to the inside here of Thorpe through 3 and 4. Going to try to make this move stick. Grant might have the run, but actually Williams going to be able to drift up and cover off the 77 machine. So move him up to 8th position as he continues his way forward.
Yeah, as these trucks get a little spread out and then they try to get back and pass, we're starting to see the air game come into effect here as John fight to the bumper of that 77. As we're going to clip up here to the 3rd, 4th, 5th battle again. And we see Clint Cox in the wall. And you see right there, Trevor, just magnetizes to the wall and kind of gets stuck up there. It's going to allow 2 guys to just slide straight by him. And now he's got to battle the handle of the truck, the dirty air of the guys in front of him now, which is really funny because I was actually going to say, as we flip back to the battle with Caleb and Dylan earlier, and it's like Grant Thorpe maybe up into the wall there, going to allow another 3 or 4 trucks by him. So, the handle really starting to go away for these guys. But as we flipped back to the battle earlier with Caleb and Dylan, I kind of stayed on board with the 19 who was running 5th. couple car lengths back of third and fourth, and it just really was a dirty air problem as he about spun it off the corner. So, yeah, the tires starting to get used and abused a little bit here. Some of these guys putting them through the ringer, and it's starting to show.
Yeah, about 19 laps, working on coming to lap 20. So that tire wear really is starting to kick in. And looking at the lap times, I mean, already a second and a half, almost a second and a half slower than what they were running as their best laps, Justice. So the fall off 20 laps into this race, very high is right here. You see Fike going to battle with Dylan Picklesheimer here as they work their way, I believe, through 1 and 2. But yeah, the tire wear already at that point where you're gonna notice it, and times are dropping off. And right now, Michael Reed was closing in on Jeremy Burns, but that last lap got up into the outside wall and gave up almost a full second to the 72 machine, as he's now almost fallen back into the clutches of the 2 of Jack Clemens.
Yeah, as I'm looking here, Trevor, guys I would expect to start moving up, right? As they're back half of the fuel run, tires are starting to wear out. These are some guys that ran some pretty, what I would call, slow lap times for their best times compared to the front guys. Guys like Dylan Picklesheimer, Kyle Diaz, Jake Williams. Some of these guys, basically their fast lap is somewhere around 29.6 compared to like the leader and Jeremy Burns, who ran a 29.1, right? So these guys are basically gaining 2 and 3 tenths a lap right now on the leader, on basically first, second through fifth or so. These guys are starting to run, 30.4s, 30.3s and catch these guys. So, you're starting to really see that tire game come into play. It's going to be interesting to see if, Picklesheimer, Fike, William Gay, these guys in like 8th, 9th, and 10th can make up the gap to Burns, which is about 10 seconds right now. They're going to have to do it with a combination of pit cycle and these tires.
It's going to be fun to watch as Berube almost got up into the outside wall in the exit of turn number 2 there. Got a little loose in that 19 machine, and I think gave it a little bit of a smack with the right rear, but should be good. But right here, Kevin Hudgens trying to make a move, I believe, on the 24 of Nick Al's. A little bit of a block out of turn number 4 is the 84 trying to get to the inside of the 24, and I think Nick going to let him go here through 1 and 2, but maybe a little bit of frustration there. It looked like Nick threw a pretty good block, Justice, and not sure if that was a product of something we might have missed a little bit earlier.
I would say it has to be, knowing Nick. Nick is not one to throw that wild of a block, and so if he's throwing something like that, he's probably pretty frustrated with how you raced him. So we saw him run a little deep into 1 there, like maybe he was going to try to get to the bumper of the 84, make a point there, and looks like he's going to kind of roll off of him here about eight truck lengths or so. As we come back to this battle here, Jack Clemens closing in on Michael Reed about a 10th and a half a lap. So I would expect sometime in the next probably 3 laps for this to end up side by side. And these guys may end up getting reeled in by Alex Berube and Clint Cox as well.
It's going to be a fun battle to watch. And how about a fun little camera angle for the fans back at home watching? Darlington known for the most famous of things, the Darlington stripe, where the drivers get up into the outside wall, give themselves a little bit of a stripe on the side of the truck, and give the wall a nice little black stripe from the tire rubber and everything. And right here, a nice little shot from the side of the 2 machine of Jack Clemens, as we can see how close he gets to the wall as he tries to run down the 91 of Michael Reed.
Yeah, this is a fun camera angle. I always love this one. They throw it out there in real life, and we see Michael Reed getting up there, and that right there shows just how basically the tires are falling off. You're running it off that right rear. That right rear starts wearing out. You're trying to turn the truck, and it basically the nose catches, and you start going left, and you got to catch that right rear from fishtailing. So these boys running super hard right now as we go on board. We're going to see a little bit of the handwork here from the driver in car, Trevor. And yep, when that steering wheel starts having to go to the right, and that orange dot moves to the right side, that is not good. You are really chasing it pretty hard.
Yeah, Reed has his hands full. They've run Jeremy Burns back down. The gap was 1.6, 1.7 seconds, and now back under a second. So they're running the 72 machine down, but definitely looks like Reed. You can see how much right input he had in that. Looks like he's all over the place. Berube with a big moment on the exit of turn number 2 as he was all the way down to the inside wall in the 19 machine back there in 5th. But he gets that gathered back up, and that tire we're definitely kicking in. As two drivers already called it a night for tonight with Christopher Schaefer and Jacob Sarkovic both done for the evening early in this race as we're only 30 laps in.
Yeah, I was kind of flipping through the field. Looked like, of course, we saw it happen with Schaefer up into the wall. Similar thing happened to Jacob in the middle of 1 and 2. Just got up in the wall, think lost the handle, and then decided it was time to pack it up because it was not running straight. So understandable. So he'll get out and see what he can learn maybe for Wednesday night, as he is one of our Cup guys. So we will be at Darlington on Wednesday, Trevor. You were the defending spring winner there, so going to be very interested to see what we've got for a piece.
I don't like this track. I mean, Darlington's one of those tracks where you can come here and be fast. One race, as we see the two machine of Jack Clemens get up into the wall there, trying to run down the 91. We still got about 15 laps left in the stage, but Darlington, you can be fast, here in the spring race and then be absolutely terrible in the fall. I mean, we've seen it in real life NASCAR where drivers show up to the first event and they're super quick, and then the second time around they're just absolutely nowhere. So it's why they call it the track that's too tough to tame. I mean, it's that way for some drivers, Justice, and we'll see. So if you want more Racing Revolution action, hey, Wednesday night over on the V Speed Network, tune in as we'll go Cup racing in the next gen cars around here and see what kind of show we can put on. Oh, as we got a wreck as the two turns the 91 down the front straightaway as he Reed goes spinning, keeps it off the wall, but no caution, Justice. And just out of nowhere, the two machine dumped the 91.
Yep, and this is exactly what we were talking about, Trevor. 91's not going to catch a caution, so he's going to go from second all the way back to about 14th right now. And the two just kind of got to the inside here. Yeah, oh man, he was not to the inside, or at least from that camera angle, it looks like he kind of just ran the 91 over. When we were on the other camera angle, kind of watching it live, it looked like he was to the inside, but pretty tough here. Yeah, man, that's so tough to tell. You want to make that pass pretty clean, but you expect some things to go different, I think, if you're both guys here. See, this is what we're saying. 91 all the way back to 15th from second because there's no caution there, right? So he loses all of his track position. Now he's going to spend the next probably 10 laps to the stage pretty pissed off trying to figure out how in the heck to make all that up.
Well, I marked that down as one rivalry we're going to have to keep our eye on tonight between the 91 and the 2. But further on back here, you got the 99, Michael Reed, John Fike, the 9 of Picklesheimer, the 44 of William Gay, who's kind of worked his way through this gaggle of trucks. He was back there outside the top 10 at one point, but he's done a really good job getting through all this lap traffic. He's worked his way up to 6th. You see John Fike, the Nashville winner, trying to get underneath the 99 machine of Reed there and try to get that pass done, as it looks like he's going to just sneak clear of him out of the exit of turn number 4.
Just a quick correction. That is the 99 of Michael Call. I want to give credit where credit is due. Is that is a top 10 position Michael Call is fighting for with 8th. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all kind of under a blanket here with coming up on 10 laps to go in the stage. These boys got a lot to sort out for a couple of points here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michael Call, not Michael Reed. As you know, it happens sometimes. You just get one driver on the brain that share the same first name and you get it wrong. As you see Kyle Diaz trying to get underneath the 99 of Call there, Justice, and looks like for Call giving up a couple spots late here into this run, as it looks like the tire wear on the 99 machine really starting to fade away.
Yeah, he he's running that old Jeff Burton throwback that we saw Harrison run a couple years ago, Trevor. I don't know that I would run that. It's a pretty cursed paint scheme at this point, for being quite honest. It looks like we're getting ready to go 3 wide. Hopefully not going to have a Byron Blaney Truex situation come out of that.
Yeah, it was Jake Williams in the 51, Dylan Picklesheimer in the 9, I believe. The 61 of Frank Hughes, or maybe the 40 of Al Likens. Not quite sure which one that was. It might have been Likens that looked to the inside there, but they get that battle sorted out, and now back to single file racing. As up front, nothing's really changed. Jeremy Burns driven away by about 2 seconds over now the new second place driver of Jack Clemens, as we see one truck way low down the back straightaway, giving up a spot there. As we just kind of jump around, there's our race leader, Jeremy Burns, as he's dominated from the drop of the green flag here. Justice leading the first 38 laps of this after a quick little battle that he had with Michael Reed, as actually Clemens down pit road, or trying to get to pit road in that 2 machine as he works his way through 3 and 4. So here come the green flag pit stops before the stage break.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe the pace slowed down enough these guys might not have to pit, but it appears that at least the 2 of Jack Clemens is going to have to pit. I would think if you're Jeremy Burns at this point, you've kind of been in cruise control. I would be surprised that 72 machine hasn't been saving, thinking he maybe can make it here. But I could be shocked here as we see another car, Chris Stamper, down pit road. So, yeah, I would have thought pre-race that everybody had to pit, but like I said, kind of the way it was flowing, that pace had really fallen off. As we now see our first car to the top 5, Alex Berube pitting. So yeah, I'd expect these guys to follow. They only have a couple laps to get down pit road here, Trevor, as pit road will close with 2 to go in the stage.
Yeah, so you got to get down pit road pretty quick here in the next couple of laps and make sure you no penalties or anything. And looking at it, Wayne Lowe with a meatball flag of all things for the 34 machine. So he got up into the wall and got some damage for himself. As you see our race leader down pit road, a couple of other drivers down pit road, Jake Williams, Michael Reed, Michael Call down pit road, Clint Cox, William Gay, all making their pit stops. And now the question is, Justice, did some of these guys who are running in the back of the field, have they tried to save enough fuel to maybe make it to the end of the stage?
Where is the 77 truck, Trevor? Where is that 77 truck? Give me the 77 truck, because if I'm going to bet on somebody saving the fuel to make it, it's that guy. Oh, is he pitting here? No, he's running super low. Okay. If I had to bet, I mean, give me my life savings, the casino's life savings, your life savings. I would bet on that 77 truck having enough fuel to make the stage. And make it back around the pit. Even if he's got to do it in the closed pits, those 10 stage points probably pretty important to him. So if I had to bet, that's who it would be. We see John Fike, Dylan Picklesheimer, Al Likens, Grant Thorpe, Justin Hughes, Nick Alves, Dominic Hughes, Dustin Adams still out there. I say that, and Fike headed down pit road here. I don't know that Picklesheimer saved enough, but his pace did fall off. After I was calling out, I thought he was going to catch a few guys, and then he was a second or 1.2 off of some of the leaders all of a sudden. So he may think that he's got enough. If you have not pitted yet, even as the leader, you are not going to pit. So next time he crosses the line, pit road will close. So anybody that hasn't pitted will be stuck in there. Oh, yeah, he's turning the truck off. Sure enough.
Yep. Do you see that? The ignition off, clutch in potentially as well. So there's your fuel saving method between the 9 of Picklesheimer, Grant Thorpe, Al Likens, Nick Alves, Dominic Hughes, Caleb Gilbert. I think all the drivers that have yet to make a pit stop, is Dominic Hughes actually on pit road. So that's going to be a penalty for the 39 machines. He'll have to take it into the line penalty, Justice, for pitting when the pit lane is closed. But Dylan working the clutch and the starter to his advantage, or the ignition to his advantage, trying to save that fuel as we're coming to 1 lap to go here before the end of stage 1.
Yeah, this is actually going to be interesting because this is going to trap a few guys a lap down when they throw the stage caution that we're not going to be a lap down. Guys like Michael Reed, Frank Hughes, Devin Hudgens are all going to have to take the wave around. And I'm guessing they're not going to be happy about that because they probably only took enough fuel. As we see Jake unlap himself here. They probably only took enough fuel to get to the stage. So everybody wants to try to get their lap back as soon as they can. But yeah, as soon as 10th place crosses this line, this thing is over as far as the stage goes. So we're going to see a bunch of guys get trapped here.
Yeah, as Picklesheimer across the line, he's going to win the stage here tonight at Darlington here tonight at Darlington. Grant Thorpe will come across in second. Then it's going to be Nick Alves, Jack Clemens, Jeremy Burns, Caleb Gilbert, Alex Berube, Al Likens. I'm showing to be down pit road. Justice is the 9 machine. Picklesheimer might be out of gas, and the caution not out yet for the stage break. And this is huge as 10th place hasn't crossed the line. The 9 machine creeping. Grant Thorpe goes by him on the outside, so he's going to inherit the race lead. There's the caution. The question is, does Picklesheimer have enough gas to even make it to his pit box at this point?
This is going to be very interesting because if you make any mistake getting to your pit box at this point, if you were Dylan Picklesheimer, you slide through that box 1 inch, you do not have enough fuel to back it up. Now he continues on here. I don't know that he can make it, Trevor.
I don't.
He
It's
is
such a long
limping.
pit road. It's a long pit road, and it's got hills. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I don't think he makes it to his pit box, and unless somebody comes down and gives that 9 machine a push. What looked like a great strategy from the 9 is going to turn into heartbreak for himself, as you can see him now making it to the entrance of pit road. But Justice, no pit boxes anywhere in sight for this 9 machine. But here comes help maybe from the 77 of Grant Thorpe as he works his way down pit road. Jeremy Burns, Alex Berube, no help for the 9 machine as just heartbreak continues for Picklesheimer.
Yeah, this is very tough if you're a Dylan Picklesheimer. Gonna end up probably, yeah, he's gonna lose a couple laps here. I don't know that it was worth that to do it. Like you said, Grant Thorpe's gonna make it all the way to his box. So whatever method Grant used seems to be the one. But yeah, Picklesheimer just parked on pit road, gonna have to tow. And that's what I was talking about. You can't make that mistake right there. Come up short of your box, not be able to move, slide through your box, not be able to move. There's a lot of mistakes you can make here that end up getting you in a bad position, and that's exactly what it looks like has happened to Mr. Picklesheimer.
I think he's still at the end of pit road, maybe waiting for a push from somebody. A couple of interesting things I did notice. A couple of drivers who took tires Justice during the green flag pit stops coming down and taking another set of tires. So 2 sets of tires used already. And you're only 40, so you still got 100 laps to go in this race. So interesting call, as you can still see the poor stricken 9 machine just right there on pit road. And there's finally the call to tow back to the pit box. Maybe a little bit late, could have saved himself maybe a lap. Justice said he towed a little bit sooner, but accepting defeat is the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer.
Yeah, he's that's going to be very tough there for the 9, as he is going to end up probably about 4 laps down, if I just had to guess, by the time he tows, gets his service, gets back out on track. Going to end up losing basically all the points you gained from winning the stage. And that's a very tough reality to face when you need all the points you can get here. Look at guys that scored points. I'm not sure who we just brought up, Trevor, but we have somebody here with us in the booth. I take it it's Grant Thorpe, finishing second in the stage. What's going on, buddy?
I was out here saving fuel best I can.
I mean, Grant, how close was it for you running out? We saw Dylan run out coming out of turn number 2. You made it to your pit box, and you're known around the league for being the man who can save fuel. So how close were you there?
It was sputtering getting to the box. I was out by the time, probably about 5 boxes short of my box, so it wasn't good by much.
Gosh,
Well,
that's what it looked like, Grant. But we saw Dylan Picklesheimer run out, need to take a tow. Would 10 points have been worth 3 or 4 laps to you there?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. Well, Grant, you got fresh tires on it. You're going to start in pretty good track position here. How are you feeling about the second half of this race?
Just try to stay out of the fence and survive till the end.
Words of wisdom right there. Well, Grant, good luck. We're going to send you back to your team, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end of it.
Yes, sir, appreciate you guys.
Fuel magician, Justice. I mean,
I
don't know how he
swear
does
he's
it.
got an extra half gallon in every tank I've ever seen, man.
Dude, he shows up with a basketball in the gas tank and then just takes it out, you know? Just the good old the 70s and 80s cheating ways. The man finds a way.
That is incredible. Quick rundown there, Trevor. When I'm looking at our point situation for the season, Caleb Gilbert leading, Fike second, Cox third, Orlando fourth, Likens fifth. The 2 guys that scored in the stage there, Fike and Gilbert, but Fike lost points again to him. So That's heating up. This is race 6 out of 10. These guys got to start thinking long term. So we get to this restart here. Kyle Diaz with a really good launch. Trevor going to get clear of Michael Call down here into 1.
Couple of trucks electing to stay out. Kyle Diaz, Michael Reed not making a pit stop, along with the 51 of Jake Williams. Those three made their pit stops right before the stage break and now elected not to take another set of tires. They stay out. Jeremy Burns, the first one on the fresh tires. As we got a wreck in the back, the 44 of William Gay getting spun around off the nose of the 61 machine. More trucks involved. The 3 heavily caught up in it, and that's just not what you want to see. Justice is the 44 all the way back up the racetrack. Wayne Lowe nowhere to go. There was another truck caught up in that got clipped as well. But incident early on here for the first on-track incident of the night as we get a replay pulled up.
Yeah, I don't. 61 into the right rear of the 44. And then if I'm Wayne Lowe, some of these other guys, I am pretty hot with the 44 truck. Not really known as a self-cleaning track here. You do not drift back up there holding your brakes at Darlington. So don't want to call anybody out, but I think the 44 out of frustration, not holding the brakes, slides himself back up there in reverse and collects a couple more trucks that didn't necessarily need to be involved.
Yeah, not what you want to see there is we'll get a look here. Exit of turn number 2, and this is where it gets tight as the 44 William Gage, I think, drifts up maybe just a little bit, and at that point you're just locked together with Frank Hughes. Nowhere for the 61 to go, and drifts down, clips the 84 of Hudgens. Hudgens saves it though, no harm, no foul there. The 3 though caught up with some heavy damage in that. That's Justin Hughes in the 3, and then of course the 34 of Wayne Lowe there, and here we are on board with the 44. Justice.
Yeah. And again, pretty crazy there. The RPM gauge in these trucks not always a great judge of what's going on in there. You kind of didn't hear any brake locking there until he was most of the way up the track. You heard it at first, and then he kind of laid off. But kind of interesting there. That just kind of happens. You get guys side by side off of 2. It's about the worst place on the track to be side by side. Even though 3 and 4 is the tighter end of the racetrack. That exit of 2 after being in the middle of that long radius corner there, it just gets so narrow. Frank Hughes trying to keep it off the wall, the 44 trying to get every bit of momentum he can. Just meet in the middle, and you end up causing that to happen.
The unfortunate turn of events as we work caution number 2 of the night. First on-track incident of the night occurring on lap 52. Pretty good run for these guys to start the race out, but this gives us a quick chance to shout out the league sponsors, as we like to thank Coastal Financial, as they are the primary sponsor for this inaugural season of the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series. And Coastal Financial's goal is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering their clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find Coastal Financial at coastalfinancial.com and on their Facebook page at Coastal Financial. We would also like to thank Slurp Sodas as being the secondary sponsor of the race league. Their driver, Michael Bennett, unable to be here tonight, but we'd like to give them a huge shout out as they're located in Scottsdale, Arizona. Their truck roams the vibrant streets of the greater Phoenix area, adding a splash of flavor to your day. Discover them in the parked at local hotspots, from downtown corners to community events, serving up their signature lineup of refreshing sodas and energy drinks. For general information or to order catering, visit their website at slurpsodas.com. You can also find them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Slurp Sodas. And of course, also the race sponsor for tonight, KSX Racing Graphics, which is done by Trevor Keith, one of the drivers that we typically see Justice racing on Monday nights and on Wednesday nights. We'd like to thank Trevor for jumping on board with his painting program and sponsoring tonight's race. If you ever need any iRacing paints, sure you hit up Trevor Keith. He does a pretty good job, and I'm pretty sure he's painted a handful of trucks in this field tonight as well as on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think a few of them are wrecked out, but the one that's led the most laps so far is definitely one he painted. They're that Longwood University truck for Mr. Jeremy Burns. So, yeah, very, very good. I think his saying is something like, look good, feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. Or was that Dion? That was Dion, wasn't it? But yeah, Trevor does some pretty good work I think you race a scheme painted up by him, Trevor, along with me and a handful of others. So, yeah, if you need him, hit him up. He's pretty good, pretty quick, so knows what he's doing.
Yeah, always does great work with his paint schemes. Definitely, if you need anything done, hit him up. But here we go, working lap number 55, coming to lap 56. Our first on-track incident done and over with tonight is Kyle Diaz going to lead us back to the green flag. Michael Recall, I'm sorry, to his outside. Jeremy Burns, Jake Williams is the top 4 with Alex Berube in 5th. And there we go, restart underway. 26.99 drag race down into turn number 1. Diaz is going to be able to clear him as they drift up into the wall. The 51 up into the wall. Somebody got caught up a little bit, checked up in the back. That's Michael Reed in the 91 as they're 3 wide, almost 4 wide, working their way through 1 and 2.
I was interested to see how they got off of the exit of 2 there, Trevor, for just a second, as you see Grant Thorpe fight that handle a little bit. Like I said, just tightens up so quick. You're trying to hold it off of other people. So this narrower end of the track is actually where it's a little easier as they remain side by side, basically the battle from 8th through 11th.
Yeah, the one thing that we haven't touched on, the uniqueness of Darlington. 1 and 2, a sweeping corner that really narrows on corner exit. 3 and 4, more predictable. And it's all got something to do with a pond and how the track was having to be built around a pond, Justice, back in the day. But 1 and 2, really kind of sweeping with their way through as you see them getting past the lap machine of the 44 of William Gay there. And it just kind of makes 1 and 2 unpredictable, but 3 and 4 are a lot easier to judge where trucks are going to be, as you see Hudgens trying to make a move on the 51 of Jake Williams, just falling back a little bit after he got into the wall on the restart.
Yeah, we see Clint Cox making a dive here to the inside of the 51 of Jake Williams, and they're going to get together, and this is probably going to be caution number 3 as they continue to just slide down the wall. No caution yet. I cannot believe this still isn't a caution as slow as they're rolling. Even though they're straight, they were rolling pretty slow in traffic, but going to maintain green flag conditions here as these guys lose every bit of track position they have, and they're going to filter on back to the last 2 cars on the lead lap as we're going to get to replay what happened here.
That's just an unfortunate event right there, is I believe for the 03 machine of Clint Cox. I think just got a little bit tight on corner exits. It's a little bit further back than the incident occurred, but just got a little tight there out of turn number 2, Justice, and really easy to do with how it narrows up. Got up into the 51 of Jake Williams and nowhere for those 2 to really go. And no caution, but right here, see the 03 get to the inside and just it tightens up for them, and they get hooked together down the back straightaway.
Yeah, just nothing you can do there. Again, racing incident, but interesting. Again, we talked about it in the pre-race a little bit, Trevor, where
there's another one.
Contact up front. Michael Reed, Alex Berube. This thing is still green. As these guys are basically stopped in the racing line, and there's the yellow flag. And this almost resulted in even worse. The 91 backed off of the 19's hood, and there was some traffic coming through there at hyperspeed. So, yeah, we finally see the caution that we thought probably should have happened with the 51 and the 03, who are singing praises right now as they're going to get to catch back up to the field. Just got to make up some room. And this very reminiscent of Sunday, Trevor, with just on the opposite end of the track between Reddick and Busher. You just saw it happen there with Berube and Reed.
Yeah, it just looks like they ran out of room through 3 and 4 and hard contact for the 91 machine. I believe I saw smoke billowing out the rear end of that machine, and be a blown motor for the 91 of Reed, who was trying to recover after he got spun off the nose of the 2 machine of Jack Clemens early on in this race. So unfortunate night, goes from bad to worse for the 91 of Reed, who was our outside pole sitter tonight, and as well for Berube, who's pretty quick around here, Justice, in that 19 machine. Just again, the string of luck for Alex in the truck series hasn't been the best, and it continues here tonight at Darlington.
Yeah, had a couple of concrete tracks which are in his favor. Normally, we call him old Concrete Berube, but he is very quick around these this abrasive track at Darlington. I believe finished runner-up to you in the spring race last year. So, yeah, Berube had it pretty tough so far. He did win one of the recruit races early, so I expect him to eventually park that truck in victory lane, but just got to kind of get a couple breaks to go his way. What we saw from Michael Reed, very similar to what we've preached week in and week out, Trevor. You just cannot end up filtered back in the pack. Now, they were not in the back. These guys are running back half of the top 10. But the further back in traffic you get, the more likely a mistake is to happen. And you can go from being a top 2, 3 truck to being out of the race pretty quickly when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the story of the season. We've seen it with the 03 machine of Clint Cox a couple of times this year on his pit strategy when he's pitted after dominating the opening parts of races, gone to the back of the field and not been able to work his way through and got caught up in some incidents. And again, here tonight, same thing with the 91 of Michael Reed, just more of the same, and kind of a storyline that we've covered pretty extensively throughout the season. Is if you're up front, you don't want to give up that track position because you don't know if you're going to be able to get it back.
Yeah, learned that last week as we get ready to bring up our second place runner. Most laps led tonight, Jeremy Burns. Welcome to the booth.
Hey.
All right, buddy. Tell us about it. How's the truck feeling? Back-to-back cautions for cause, none in the first stage. What do we think is going to happen from the rest of the way here?
I mean, we'll just have to plan on where we're going to take tires, but overall the truck feels great. A lot better than the Cup car, surprisingly, but the key is to be as full throttle as you can through 1 and 2 to carry that momentum down the back. And then 3 and 4, you just have the differing lines depending on, what you want, whether you want to take the shortest way around or whether you want to get run coming off the corner. So we're going to see what we can do. It's going to come down to the choose here. It's going to be fun, but we're going to see where he goes. I'll probably go opposite to see if I can get around him, but we're going to see. We're going to have some fun and hopefully park this thing back in victory lane for back-to-back weeks.
I mean, does it count, though, if we didn't cover it last week and it being a road course, Jeremy? I don't think it necessarily counts. But just jokes. But you're looking good up there. Michael Reed, your biggest competition, it looked like earlier in stage 1 out of this. Who you looking at out there as potential a challenge to a truck that looked really dominant in the first 45 laps of this?
Oh, a lot of guys, right? It just depends on how long the runs are, right? So you got guys that are really quick on the short run, guys that are really quick on the long run. Actually, Fike was pretty quick on the long run, so glad to have a teammate up here. I don't know where Caleb's at, but hopefully he can get back up here. But overall, as long as I'm racing my teammates at the end, I think that's a pretty successful night as a team, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, there you go. Well, Burns, we'll send you back to your team. Good luck for the rest of this, and we'll hopefully be talking to you at the end of it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
72 machine, Jeremy Burns going to restart this thing on the outside of row number 1 as he did exactly what he said. Justice going to take the opposite of the 26 of Kyle Diaz.
Yeah, we'll see if Kyle Diaz gets that same launch he has the last couple of restarts that allowed him to clear the 99 truck of Michael Call. But interested to see. Maybe Jeremy can hang on up there. Should be on a hair bit fresher tires, I believe, than Kyle Diaz. So these boys getting ready to go to battle here as Barney's waiting to wave that green flag when they roll into the Geico restart zone.
And here they come into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Diaz on the loud pedal with a pretty decent little jump over the 72. Actually got a really great jump. Here comes the teammate for Burns. John Fike to the inside as he looks for second place through the entry of turn number 1. The 65 going to be clear. The Nashville winner up to second place as Diaz tries to pull away from the field. We'll see if there's any carnage out of turn number 2, as that seems to be the hot spot, but everybody through turn number 2 cleanly as they head their way through 3 and 4.
Yeah, a couple of side-by-side battles that gave us a little bit of juice there at the 61 inside of the 77. They're about 8th place. So we got the 77 to Grant Thorpe. Big run on Devin Hudgens here. Jack Clemens looking to the inside of Nick Alves as well. We got contact here. Spin. 2 cars spun around, and we are wrecking again. Third cause for caution. Or third caution for cause. My bad there. But we say it quite often in racing, Trevor. Cautions breed cautions. And that's what we're seeing right at the moment here.
That they do. 4th caution overall of the night. 3rd on track incident is here we go. Hudgens gets into the side of the 77, gets checked up, run over from behind by the 61 of Frank Hughes. Jack Clemens nowhere to go. Nick Alves nowhere to go. But for a lot of these guys, Justice, just maybe a little bit of a scraped side, a little scraped bent up front bumper, but I didn't see a lot of hard contact being made there.
I was about to say, I didn't see anybody taking any kind of Michael Reed shots there and blown blown motor type contact. The 2 probably going to get the worst into this. I know we see quite a bit of damage on the 84, but the 2 hit the squarest of everybody. So, going to be interested to see who's got the worst end. Now, I will say this, Trevor, the more laps that they keep running under yellow, the more tire sets these guys have in the pits. You see on board from Nick Alves, pretty soft contact there. Nick was checked up pretty heavily, so that really should not affect his truck. We do see a little bit of bent up on the right front, but he should be more than okay, I would have to believe. But yeah, these guys preserving a tire set here, Trevor, the longer they run under yellow. So we'll see what they can do with that.
We will see, but we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break, let the drivers caught up in that last incident, break out the sledgehammers and the duct tape, get those trucks repaired. But for us, we're going to step aside for a quick second, and we'll be right back for the restart.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for Monday Night Racing for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series for the KSX Racing Graphics 200 here tonight from Darlington as we work our fourth caution of the night, third on-track incident. We did have one caution for the stage break at lap 45. First stage dominated by the 72 of Jeremy Burns, but actually won by the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer, who then subsequently ran out of gas before he ever made it back to pit road. And the 9 had been trying to recover ever since. He's still 3 laps down. Then a flurry of incidents justice that we've seen as Kyle Diaz continues to lead the way. New drivers up front, though. Kevin Orlando now going to start his outside with Grant Thorpe, Al Likens, and Caleb Gilbert all inside the top 5.
Yeah, Kevin Orlando, driver I was getting ready to bring up, kind of been quiet. Started 6th. Hasn't really done much. Just kind of been around, running his thing. Stayed out of the headlines so far in the race, and here he is restarting 2nd outside of Kyle Diaz. Interesting there to see Jeremy Burns give up track position, go ahead and get a set of tires. Figured he may stay out a little longer there and see what else he could get out of those, but we'll see how that works out for him. Again, hopefully that old strategy game we were talking about doesn't come back to bite him.
We'll have to wait and see. A couple of heavy hitters out of the race. Michael Reed, Alex Berube, William Gay, all caught up in incidents earlier on. Clint Cox in the 03 caught up in one as well, but he's trying to work his way back up through the field. But here we go. Diaz is going to lead us back to the green flag, and another great jump from the 26 machine as he gets clear of the 27 of Kevin Orlando, jumps up to the outside line. Here comes the 77 of Grant Thorpe, man who finished 2nd in the stage after doing a masterful job saving fuel, trying to get to the inside of the 27. Just not going to be clear as they exit turn number 2. A little bit of a wiggle from the 77 machine. That's going to be some track position losses. We got one sideways in the back. Everybody saves it, though, but that's the 65 of John Fike Justice. They got up into, I believe, the 84 of Devin Hutt, or not, sorry, not the 84, the 86 of Joseph Gendron.
Yeah, John Fike, I think another one of those guys that gave up a little track position to go get tires. Maybe those cold tires kind of catching him off guard there. Getting a little loose, getting up into that 86 machine, but everybody kind of just continues on. Ho hum, they'll be okay. As the field kind of single filed out a little bit here. Maybe these boys trying to settle back in, get that long run going. Let's go back, get some green flag pit stops, and see what happens here.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go in this race tonight. There's about 73 laps left here tonight. Justice is Kevin Orlando all over the rear bumper of the 26 of Diaz. Diaz a little bit loose as Kevin just searching here for a way to get up to the front and get his first win of the Truck Series. As I believe Diaz, our Charlotte winner, trying to hold on with Likens just lurking there in third.
Yeah, I'm interested. If I could ask these guys, one thing is how they're hoping this works out. I know I was talking about Burns going and getting tires. You have some other guys that have come in and gotten fuel or tires as well at some different intervals there with the flurry of cautions. But the one thing is, these guys that have been out here the whole time, I mean, Kevin Orlando's been out here for about 27 laps. Kyle Diaz 33. Now that includes all your caution laps, but you are still burning some fuel. So if this thing goes green, does the math work out for these guys that they're on the better end of that? Normally that's going to be a no, because you're at a tire disadvantage and a fuel disadvantage. And we'll see. If this stays green, these guys are going to have to pit significantly earlier than most of their counterparts in the field.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm worried about. Kyle Diaz last on pit road on lap 41, so 4 laps before the stage break. Kevin Orlando last pitted on the stage break. So the pit cycle on when they're going to have to pit again going to be really interesting. Grant Thorpe on pit road on 62. The truck that's been out there the longest, though, I'm just looking at my timing and scoring, the 5 of Chris Stamper running there in 7th. Just as I show him last on pit road on lap 39. So he's doing a great job of hanging up there inside the top 10 with what I can only assume are really used tires.
Yeah, but again, if he pitted on lap 39, he had the stage, quick caution, 5 laps, quick caution, and this. So really, I mean, he's got some use on those, but I don't know how much, right? How much did you really burn those up? But yeah, just kind of hang it on. Back half of the top 10 is all you can do. But again, my biggest concern is if this stays green, right? Now, I want to shout out our race sponsor because I know he's watching this, right? And this strategy has bitten him at Martinsville, of all places, where we were having a flurry of cautions, having a little bit of trouble going green in the Cup Series last year. And next thing you know, he decides he's going to stay out. He's going to pit the next caution, and we get a 65-lap green flag run. He is the only car in the entire field that pitted under green. Lost 3 laps and was just kind of relegated to the back the rest of the day. So, yeah, these boys, you need it to do one thing and one thing only, and you hope you're on the better side of it, right? If you're these ones that stayed out forever, you need it just to stay green and hope that you're on the better end of the timing.
That you do, right? We just were watching the battle with Jake Williams, Nate Galves, and those guys, and that looks like it got sorted out. And up front, Jeremy Burns trying to run down teammate Caleb Gilbert and the rest of the field. Grant Thorpe, Diaz, Likens, and Orlando is Burns and Caleb on the fresher tires here, Justice, as they work their way up through the field. And again, I mean, you were just talking about it, the pit strategy on when and where you're going to make that pit stop. That's going to be key. And maybe having that extra set of tires, if we have another flurry of cautions, who knows if having that extra set that Kevin Orlando, Diaz, and Stamper are going to have, if that's going to come into play for them.
Yeah, you know, and we see Burns kind of working these guys, and this speaks to even a 2 or 3 lap tire advantage can be a big advantage, right? Because it's not like Grant and Caleb, who are on the same set of tires, right, as each other, right? They have about 6 more laps on their tires than Jeremy Burns, 4 of which would be under cautions. Talking about 2 green flag laps. We saw how easily he kind of got past Caleb. Now, a little bit of struggle behind Grant, or maybe just a little bit of settling in. I don't know, but it just makes such a huge difference. That's how abrasive this track surface is, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, this track is not kind to the tires, and The question is, how much are the likes of Caleb Gilbert saving tires along with Grant Thorpe, or maybe the fuel as opposed to Burns just trying to run up there and get that track position back, as he's done a really masterful job of getting through the field. Let's see how that plays out as the run progresses. I mean, he wasn't the fastest truck on the long run. He said it in his interview. So we'll see if this maybe is gonna hurt him, Justice, as this run progresses, as he makes a move here for second.
Yeah, the good thing he's got going for him is the way the track position cycled. When I'm looking at guys that are on the same tire set as Jeremy Burns, it's Jack Clemens in eighth, right? So the more trucks that Burns can put between him and Jack Clemens, it's more time, right? So that's what Jeremy Burns has got to go for here. Put as many trucks as you can in between, because then the next guy that's on the same set of tires is John Fike in 12th. Everybody else has somewhat older tires than you, whether it's 6 laps or in some cases about 30 lap older tires. So, yeah, Burns just needing to pick up as many spots as he can, as we see Caleb Gilbert and Grant Thorpe battling side by side. Those two guys, like I said, on the same tire strategy. Ooh. Grant into the wall, catches the 2 of Jack Clemens, but they all keep it straight. That was very nearly a moment again off of 2, Trevor.
Yeah, turn 2's been the action corner for us tonight. Grant Thorpe got hard up into the outside wall, and everybody keeps it straight. Clemens, who's had a relatively quiet but slightly eventful night from the first stage, trying to work his way back up there. As you see the 03 of Clint Cox, he was caught up in an incident with the 51 of Jake Williams. He's now by the 77 machine of Thorpe. There's Thorpe, falls back just a little bit. But Caleb Gilbert starting to work that 54 machine up through the field as he now tries to get by the 26 of Kyle Diaz.
Yeah, Jack Clemens behind him up into the wall. And we see now Caleb Gilbert to the inside of the 26. Can he make a move, stick down here into 1? This should be a pretty easy clearance with his tire advantage, and it is. As Caleb's going to slide up in front of him, settle in. Now he has a pretty considerable gap here to Burns, about 15 to 20 truck lengths maybe. To make up, so we'll see how patient is Caleb willing to be. Normally one of those guys that'll just pluck away at it. It just keep taking dig after dig after dig, and he'll make his way up there.
He might have a little bit of help catching these guys. Al Likens has caught up to the rear of Kevin Orlando, and we all know from history, if you've watched any of the Monday Night Racing here on the Revo Network, or if you've tuned in to maybe V Speed for the Wednesday Night Cup Series, you know how hard it is to get past that 27 machine, especially when he's out front. So Al's not going to have an easy time, but right behind them, breathing down their neck, is going to be that 72 of Jeremy Burns. And Burns could get by this pretty quickly, or could be in for a long, drawn-out, just kind of riding and being patient. You see Likens start to look to the inside, just can't quite get to the all the way up to that quarter panel of the 27.
Yeah, you know, we've seen this thing playing through IRL, where they sat down all the drivers and said, who's the hardest to pass? What's the hardest car in the field to pass? And the overwhelming answer was the 1 car. If you sat down all drivers in Racing Revolution, Cup and Truck, said, what's the hardest truck in the field to pass? The overwhelming answer is going to be that 27, truck and car. As we see Al Likens get side by side, Kevin, though, going to get back on that loud pedal. He is not going to just let Al sneak by, even though Kevin got into the outside wall there. These guys maintain side by side. Al going to make his move, slide up in front of Kevin. Once you're clear of him, though, a lot of times you have a big tire advantage on that 27. You're just going to drive away.
Yeah, we'll see how far, or how much longer Al can lead this. Is Kevin not going to give up quite easily. He's going to try to drive it back in there and get right back to the rear bumper. The 40 machine, a really good run here through 1 and 2. Sees the 27 right over the rear bumper, and there Burns just kind of lurking. But I tell you what, start the Jaws music up as Caleb Gilbert, Justice, now under a second of the top 3 as he's starting to catch up as this battle still continues. And Burns can't get by the 27, but a chance here at a 4-0 doesn't have the momentum as Burns just lurks behind the 27.
Yeah, Burns kind of stuck in that dirty air package here, Trevor, and I expect Caleb to get involved in that same way here in just a moment. We've kind of preached it track to track, and as we see now, Burns got the momentum off of 2. Going to carry it down here, should make an easy clearance, I would have thought. with the tire advantage he's got, yeah, he's going to finally clear him there on the exit of 4. I'm really intrigued though, Trevor, because I know Caleb made all that ground up, but now Al kind of checks away from Kevin, and Burns kind of driving away from Kevin. Now Caleb gets the pleasure of trying to pass that 27 machine, but I think once Burns is kind of clear, I don't know that Caleb can just catch him outright on speed. 6 lap older tires, and Burns was pretty quick. I know he wasn't the quickest on the long run, but Caleb Gilbert wasn't exactly one of the guys running him down there. So we'll see. Maybe Caleb, Caleb's pretty good at adapting. Maybe he learned a little something and is going to make his way up there and pass that teammate.
We'll wait and see. The Bristol winner lurking in third place. Burns, last week's winner, got around the 40 of Al Likens, who now falls back to second. Gilbert up to third. Kevin Orlando back to fourth as we get that nice camera shot of the 54 machine as he works his way through 3 and 4. Trying to run down the 40 machine. The 2 of Jack Clemens also has caught up to this little group. So 5 trucks now within about a second and a half of one another. A couple of trucks making pit stops. Kyle Diaz on down pit road. Joseph Gendron down pit road. The 5 of Chris Stamper also making their pit stops. As those guys who had stayed out prior to the stage or post stage, or I'm sorry, made their pit stops prior to the stage or at the stage, starting to make their pit stops. So I would suspect the 27 of Kevin Orlando, Justice, as I'm talking about him, to work his way down pit road.
Yeah, see, and he almost fell victim of that little thing I was talking about. Got down on the flat pretty early and almost lost it because it kind of just floats back up there. So good to see him safely make it on the pit road. And now, if you're Kevin, you have to convince yourself not to run super hard and try to get in your own head. All these guys have to pit again, right? You either need a very quick caution or you need it just to stay green, and then just let it play out. Now, we see the 72. I'm on board with the 72. He's losing the handle a little bit. Like maybe he pushed it. We've not really seen Burns make a mistake on his own. I don't expect him to, but he's fighting a little bit of a loose truck. Is Caleb Gilbert back there lurking about a second back. Al Likens on his tail. Al, one of those guys. Caleb, one of those guys. Probably looking to pit in about the next 7 laps. Burns should be able to run about 7 more than that. So very, very crucial green flag pit cycle for some of these guys. I think Burns, if he can run, say, 14 more, he may be able to make it to the end with just that one pit stop.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get interesting. Do you pit this and plan on maybe making it a 2-stop, or do you try to stretch it out, make it a 1-stop? I think for the guys who can save the fuel, they're going to turn this into a 1-stop. Maybe for the guys a little bit more excessive on the throttle, they're going to try to turn this into a 2-stop. Or hey, maybe you want that little bit of extra tire advantage and you turn this into a 2-stop. That's going to be interesting thing to see. Is the 25 of Dustin Adams, the driver we haven't talked about tonight, works his way off of pit road. He was inside the top 10 at one point tonight, making a pit stop here is going to put him a couple of laps down until it cycles back around. But having a good night for himself there, Justice, is that 25 machine is green flag pit stops underway. And this is where it's going to get interesting because you're going to have fresher tires that are going to be about a second and a half faster than these older tires trying to work their way through the field. And this is where we could see issues as we're back here with Nick Alves, Jake Williams, and the 99 of Michael Call all battling here for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah, this is where you start to see a little bit of calamity happen sometimes, is guys aren't totally aware that maybe the guy running up on them is on super fresh tires compared to theirs, and you can get guys throwing blocks that they probably shouldn't be, and not cutting brakes where they need to be. So interested to see how this happens, Trevor. I know I'm one of those that can sometimes get caught up in that, where I'm just like, what, this guy's catching me, and I'm trying to kind of maintain my line and give him dirty air, and then I'm like, well, golly, he just pitted. Let him by. He's a couple laps down, whatever it may be. So, yeah, going to be very, very fun to watch because you have such a wide spread, right? You have about 15 to 18 laps between the first person that pitted and the last person that pitted. So this tire advantage thing is going to play out basically from here to the end of the race, with guys having to make a decision. But what you typically see, like IRL in the Cup Series, I mean, these teams are running super simulations, right, constantly. How do we run this in the shortest amount of time possible. Is that make it a double pit stop, go get a couple sets of tires, and just F all about the fuel? Or do you stay out, run long, or are you good at saving tires where you can just make it a one stopper and you're going to be the guy that wins the race, right? Denny Hamlin, one of the best at that. But then you got guys that are super quick on short runs like Tyler Reddick that would rather, double it up. So some of these guys gonna have to play it differently and try to win it in different ways. Right now, we see Jeremy Burns kind of staying out. You figure he's making his bed with a one stopper.
Yeah, it's the pit strategy. That's going to be the fun part. See how it unfolds. Jack Clemens having a bit of a moment at a turn number 2. Got a bit of the wall, shot down to the inside of the racetrack. But the 2 machine keeps it going, trying to run down the 40 of Al Likens there. And Jack, that truck a little bit beat up. But I got to say, I mean, we saw him involved in that incident, Justice, through turn number 1, where he kind of squared up the 84 of Hudgens. And I got to say, they got that truck fixed pretty well, and it still looks like it's got a lot of speed as he continues to run in 4th, trying to chase down 3rd.
Yeah, I thought he took the worst into that, but that front end looks perfectly fine as he's up here running the wall, doing his thing, just running real nice. So continues a good run. He's kind of been up front all night, been a part of the mix, part of the story. So I would expect that not to change. To see him get up into the wall there in turn 1. Easy to fall victim to that, Trevor. He's got the 25 of Dustin Adams passing him on fresher tires. But yeah, getting ready for these guys to pit. Caleb Gilbert, Al Likens, Clint Cox, Grant Thorpe, all these guys on 42-lap-old tires. And then your next wave, Burns, Clemens, who else? Michael Call, Nick Alves, all a few laps past that, going to need to make their pit stop.
Yes, they are. As you see, Kevin Orlando getting by the 86 of Gingeron there as they work their way through 1 and 2. Kyle Diaz trying to follow suit with the 27 machine, as I believe they got around the 03 of Clint Cox, who it looks like he's about to get passed by the 77 of Grant Thorpe. They work their way into the entrance to turn number 3. The 03 looks a little bit off the pace, and that would be why. Here comes down pit road. This is going to be one of the first drivers that were in the 60 lap, in that lap 68 or 62 to 68 range, pardon me, that are going to make their pit stops. And this is probably Justice where it's going to kick off for the rest of the field to start making their green flag pit stops.
Yep, the rest of the field should pit in the next 5 to 7 laps. Like I said, if you're Jeremy Burns, you want to pit on about lap probably 111 or 112 would basically guarantee that he makes it to the end. These guys have run about 38 to 40 laps, or 41 laps on a good run here. So, oh gosh, it looks like we've got some news here. The 24 truck has missed pit road entry. Trevor, we were talking about it. I thought somebody might do it at some point.
Yeah, it's the tough break for Nick Alves as he misses pit road. Grant Thorpe, Al Likens, Dominic Hughes all down pit road as the green flag pit stops underway. We'll see if Nick Alves can get down pit road this time by and win our top 10, or I'm sorry, top 5 will make their way down pit road as I'm watching the 24 machine. A lot lower this time. Looks like he's going to get to pit road cleanly this time around for Nick. So service getting done on the 24 machine. Jake Williams in the 51 brings that machine down pit road for potentially his last pit stop of the night. Going to be tight on the fuel window as Caleb Gilbert, the second place runner, down pit road. So if you're Jeremy Burns, Justice, these guys behind you pitting can't stay out much more, I think, than a lap or 2. Was you're going to give it up on the racetrack, but maybe Jeremy looking for that fuel number here to make sure he's good to go to the end.
Yeah, and kind of based on our impromptu battle for the lead once this cycle ends right now. You got Kevin Orlando and Kyle Diaz, and then you got the way this strategy plays out as we see the Mountain Man getting on pit road. Nice, clean entry. Going to get himself down here. Now you got to get cleanly into the box again. Execution right here. Going to make the difference in who wins and loses this race, Trevor, as we go on board here. Looking at the 27 and 26. Battling right now for 6th and 7th. As the cycle ends, though, that will be your leader and second place. As we see Caleb Gilbert kind of cycle out behind these guys. Clint Cox, Al Likens, Grant Thorpe. Looks like that's going to round out your top 5 or 6 once this cycle finishes up.
Yeah, waiting for it to cycle through as Jack Clements, Michael Call, John Fike still shown as being out there on racetrack. Michael Call down pit road in the 99 machine. So Clemens, Fike yet to make their pit stops. We do know Kevin Orlando, Kyle Diaz, they're going to have to make at least one more pit stop before this race is over. We're going to see how that two-stop strategy is going to work out. Then you're going to have the fuel mileage and what's going to happen with the fuel mileage. One truck sideways at a turn number 4. I believe it was John Fike in the 65 machine right in front of Nick Owls, but Fike gathers it back up. Actually, no, to the inside wall is the 65 of Fike, but just as it's off the racing line, no caution, but maybe a little bit of scare for some of these drivers as Fike hit that inside wall pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you who wanted that caution here is Kevin Orlando, Kyle Diaz. Would have loved to have seen that caution as they're side by side. We're going to go on board here looking at the 65. Yep, just a little too low, fighting the handle of the truck. That's how you end up in that inside wall. And again, maybe one lap too late on the pit cycle there for John Fike as he's going to get ready to pit here in the next couple and kind of lick his wounds there, Trevor, unfortunately. For John Fike is without a caution that may end his night, at least as far as running for the win goes. But right at the moment, Kevin Orlando back to the point here. Kyle Diaz right on him, just about 4 truck lengths off, and then Caleb Gilbert back behind him about 9 seconds. So here's where, being out for a long time, these guys have to decide. If I'm these guys, I'm maybe considering pitting sooner rather than later. Go down, get enough fuel, just take right side tires, and see where that cycles you. It may put you at an advantage.
And we'll see what their pit strategy is going to be as they were on pit road on lap 95 and 93 respectively. But green flag pit stops done and over with. How will this play out? We will find out, but we're going to step aside for our last commercial break of the evening, and we'll be back to take you to the end of the race here on the Revo Racing Network.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series. The KSX Racing Graphics 200 here tonight at Darlington. Pulled a little bit of a Fox Sports broadcast there as we went to commercial break right as Kyle Diaz overtook Kevin Orlando. But you've been watching that battle for the lead as we were on commercial break. But we'd like to thank Coastal Financial and all their financial services for sponsoring, being the primary sponsor of the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck League here. And if you need any of their financial planning, be sure to go check out their website, coastalfinancial.com, or find them on Facebook at Coastal Financials. Kevin Orlando all over the rear bumper of the 26 of Kyle Diaz. Diaz might be needing a cold drink to kind of cool down the heat of this battle. So to go check out Slurp Sodas on their Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Slurp Sodas for great refreshing beverages in the Phoenix area. As that battle justice for the lead heating up as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, these guys continuing to fight. Trevor, but the real battle's coming up on them as Burns and Gilbert closing in. But yeah, these guys just continue lap after lap, throw shots, try to see who can take control of the race. It could be big. If you're one of these guys, you want to be out front, and then you're hoping for that caution to come out. Gosh, probably in the next. Man, they need it in about 4 laps because by the end of 4 laps, Burns has not only caught him, he's probably caught him and passed him for the lead, which will essentially relegate these guys to needing a miracle. So these guys are going to need something. So looking at last lap time here, Trevor, yeah, Burns making up about a second a lap on these guys, along with Gilbert, Clint Cox making up somewhere around 3/4 to 9/10 of a second. So. These guys just on 20 lap older tires, they need a caution. You need a caution in a hurry if they want to have a chance to do anything here late.
Yeah, needing it now, but I think a little too late as there goes Burns past the 27, and just like that, a quick run through 3 and 4. Or I'm sorry, yeah, through 3 and 4, and that's going to put Burns side by side with the 26 of Diaz. They enter 1 and 2, and last week's winner looking to go back to the point here, Justice. But right behind that, the 54, Caleb Gilbert, starting to close in on this as Kevin Orlando slides contact with Diaz. Gilbert goes wide to avoid it. Everybody keeps it straight, but a heart attack there for the 54 machine as the 26 and 27 bounced off of one another on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, call Caleb Christopher Busher there as he just drove as far down there as he could to try to avoid the calamity. And I said it while we were in the commercial break, was the unfortunate part for the 26 and 27 was they needed a caution, needed it quick. As we go to the replay here, they needed a caution, needed it quick. They just couldn't be the caution. Right here, they nearly were. As we get Kevin sliding, gets up into the 26. 26 makes a save down to the bottom. 54 passes both of them, gets a little 2 for 1. Now gets a clean run up to Jeremy Burns. These guys, again, continuing to battle for 3rd and 4th. I don't expect it to get any less hot. Now we see, what does Caleb Gilbert have to track Jeremy Burns down from a 2.5 seconds back in the next 22 laps, Trevor?
Yeah, he's got 22 laps to do it, about a 1.5 seconds back from Jeremy Burns. And look at the lap times for those two. I mean, Burns was about 0.2 quicker than the 54 machine of Gilbert. So we'll see if Gilbert can kind of switch up that pace and get back up there and track him down. The other question is, I mean, they pit right on the cusp of being able to make it to the end, Justice, on fuel. Burns 1 lap later than Gilbert. So we'll see if the fuel mileage is going to play a factor into this race as well.
I just don't think so, Trevor. I think that they both pitted late enough there that they know they can make it. So these guys probably just here to race it out as hard as they can. As we see the side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th continues, now holding up the 86 and the 34. A couple guys that are laps down here. Trevor, they are battling for their own race. We see the 34 Wayne Lowe get up into the wall. But 26 and 27 for the time being have sorted it out as that 86 machine of Joseph Gendron gets on by. Looks like the 03 Clint Cox closing in. And for just a minute or two, we're going to cool it off as Kevin Orlando pulls down pit road here. Interested to see how he plays this strategy, Trevor. I think at this point just lost too much time, probably relegating himself back somewhere a lap down, maybe around 14th to 17th. We will see what happens here, but tough night there. Like I said, I was worried about that call. If it goes green, how does this work out for him? As we get a yellow, and that yellow could not have been worse timed for the 27 machine of Kevin Orlando Jr.
The timing for Kevin Orlando, and it's unfortunate turn of events for the 5. Their Justice of Chris Stamper, who is quietly having himself a good little run tonight, and unfortunately for Stamper, his good night now goes down the drain as he might got a little bit of help. Actually, no, just looks like he lost it through 3 and 4 there. Gets spun around and makes contact. Not sure who that was, but contact made, I believe, with the 9 of Picklesheimer. I believe that was, Justice.
Yeah, that's what it looked like there, Trevor. But yeah, he just 61 of Frank Hughes coming with a run here. He does get a little help from the 61, and that's where we were talking about the whole different tires, right? Everybody's on different tires here. How that works out for him, you never know, and this is what you get. Um, Unfortunate for Kevin Orlando Jr. is he does lose the lap. He's going to probably get it back on the wave around, but going to have to start tail into the field on basically the same tires as the leaders. So going to get his lap back and then maybe restart and end up a little better than 14th. Probably going to hope for a quick caution where he can stack back up with those leaders. As we have brought a friend into the booth here, Trevor.
Caleb Gilbert, the man on pit road right now, getting 4 fresh tires and some fuel for what should be his final pit stop of the race, as he's going to try to run down the 72 of Jeremy Burns, and it's going to be the race off pit road first. Burns is going to get the 54 machine of Caleb Gilbert, so Gilbert will restart in second. But Caleb, is Trevor and Justice up in the booth, man, you've been kind of just lurking behind the 72 of Burns for most of the night. How are you feeling about your chances of battling him here for the win in these last 18 laps?
Oh man, this is one of those tracks where I just, I'm in between the long run speed, saving my tires, getting there slowly, surely. Fast, quick, short run, I guess is the right word. Don't have a ton of that. It's just not my style, at least here. So I did not want to see that caution. At a comfy gap to third, it's probably gonna be like 9-10 seconds. So now it's short run. All hell's gonna break loose, as they say. I got Clint behind. He's been good on the short run. Kyle's always quick. Jack's quick. So I got my hands full here. So I'm more concerned about what's behind me than Burns. He's just so fast. Long run, short run. I don't know how he does it here. Not burn it up. He's crazy. So.
You talk about hands full out of the rearview mirror. You had to play a little bit of Chris Buescher there out of the windshield. Walk us through that a little bit. What you were seeing with the 26 and 27 battling really hard there.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. That was a Code Brown. Dove it to the, that's like the 4th or 5th time people have gotten into each other right in front of me. Going low's worked so far. That was definitely not a great moment for anybody involved there. I'm glad I'm still going forward, so that's good.
Well, Caleb, good luck in the last, I believe, 15 laps that we'll have after we get lined back up for the restart. So good luck in that. We'll send you back to your team, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end of this.
Yep, I needed the luck. Appreciate y'all.
The Bristol winner, Justice, saying he needs a little bit of luck around Darlington. He does have a lot of hungry drivers behind him. You got the Charlotte winner in Diaz. You got Clint Cox, who's been fast at about every track that we've been to. The Daytona winner there in 4th, and of course last week's winner in front of him. I mean, this is going to be a great restart and a great last handful of laps that we've got.
Yeah, they say the cream rises to the top, Trevor. 1st through 4th, guys that have already won this season, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, all looking for a win. So, your really fast guys have a way of making their way forward. And I'm interested to see. He kind of called out who's been quick on the short run. 26, who we saw kind of lead some laps earlier, be pretty good. Now he's on the same set of tires as the leaders because he gets a real good break there. I am very interested to see what he can do, even with the leaders starting up front with him for the first time tonight on the same sets of tires.
We'll see how it's going to go for him. If you're looking for some of your favorite drivers, you're just tuning in. A couple of drivers out of the race. Christopher Schaefer, the first truck out in 26th. Michael Reed, after starting on the outside pole, got caught up in a wreck with Alex Berube. They're 24th and 23rd, respectively. Wayne Lowe down in 21st. William Gay got caught up in an incident down in 20th. Stage winner Dylan Picklesheimer still 2 laps down in 19th. And then Chris Stamper brought out the latest caution number 5. He's all the way back in 15th. Kevin Orlando did get the wave around and is up into 13th. As pace car pulls off, Burns going to lead us into the Geico restart zone. 15 laps to go as they cross the line. Burns with a great start of the 26th of Diaz. Caleb Gilbert with an equally good start, but not clear of the 26 as they head their way into turn number 1.
Yep, Burns getting a nice clear lead and a little bit of a moment there from the 26 is going to allow the 03 to maybe take advantage. Clint Cox, is he going to get clear? Just barely, about a razor's edge there, and the 2-car reacts, knowing how close that was. The 54 all over that back bumper, wondering if the 72's feeling the heat here, Trevor. First time tonight he's had a bunch of pressure. If we're being honest, at least while he's out front, he had the opening start that was a little close, but other than that, he has been kind of just comfortable most of the night. And so now we see guys maybe laying back. Listen, even on a 14-lap run from here, the tires will start to fall off. So you can't just go run Q laps the whole time. You're going to get run over if you do that.
Don't tell that to the 2 teammates who are trying to drive away from the field with Jeremy Burns, Caleb Gilbert, but Burns starting to pull away. Clint Cox had a little bit of a moment out of turn number 2. That last lap, was able to keep it straight and hold on to that 3rd position. So he's going to try to regroup and give chase back, but Burns starting to pull that gap out half a second over the 54 machine as we're working 13 laps to go, and the field starting to figure it out. One truck way to the inside. I believe that's Al Likens in the 40 or the 99 of Michael Call, both running that pretty good looking paint scheme, I gotta say, but those two trucks look the same. It was the 40 of Likens who was all the way to the inside wall as they both try to get by now the 77 of Grant Thorpe.
Yeah, gonna have a little bit of work cut out for themselves here. You didn't want to put yourself in that situation if you're Al. Grant's gonna get around him. Now we're gonna have a little bit of a battle of who's got the better X-side truck. The 99 and the 40 gonna go after each other here. So a little single file action basically through the field here. These guys kind of sorting it out, and I gotta wonder, does anybody have what they need to get to that 72 truck and challenge for this win? The 03, 26, I think both hoping they do back here in 3rd and 4th.
That's gonna be the fun one to watch for. I mean, will Cox, will Diaz get up there? I mean, looking at their lap times, not running any faster than our race leader, actually a little bit slower than Jeremy Burns, Justice. So we'll see. Actually, Caleb Gilbert was a little bit faster. He's trying to track him back down, but just kind of running out of laps is Call trying to get by now Grant Thorpe in the 77.
Yeah, it looked like the 77 must have had a little moment, got into the wall there, the way that we saw the 99 of Call react. And here off of 2, hot spot. These guys continue to be side by side, trying to risk a truck, risk a race here. And 99 and 77 continue to stay side by side, and we see the handle going away even this quickly as they're side by side. Frank Hughes up into the wall. It's going to allow the 39 truck of Dominic Hughes to get by him there. And for now, these guys sort it out and get back single file.
And trying to stay single file, trying to make these passes as best they can, get up into the outside wall, give up a little bit of momentum as Thorpe able to hold off the 99 and the 51 up front. No real changes. Clint Cox still trying to hang on in front of the 26 of Diaz, not being able to do anything. And then you got 2 of Jack Clemens there lurking in 5th position. Al Likens up to 6th. Still having a great run for himself. Nick Alves up into 7th after his pit road mistake and incident. He's having a good recovery for himself as that gap still stays at about 0.4 of a second between Jeremy Burns and Caleb Gilbert, Justice, with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, Jeremy Burns a couple laps there was like 2 and 3/10 faster, and then it's kind of leveled now, and you gotta wonder if he superheated the tires here. Is right there. We're getting ready to see him kind of put some numbers up here. Caleb Gilbert a 0.5 slower again. So I don't know where Jeremy Burns is finding these cool temps. As you see the 2 of Jack Clemens back there in 5th place, getting to the wall side by side for 3rd. But I don't know where Jeremy Burns is finding all this grip. But I might have to ask him, see if I can get in his head a little bit for Wednesday night.
Well, I think they call it grip hacks. I think he gets it from the team owner for their team on Wednesday nights, Justice. But we can't verify that. But Burns looking to be cruising to back-to-back victories here tonight as that gap continues to grow here with 6 laps to go. Kyle Diaz able to get around the 03 of Clint Cox and then Jack Clemens, who I think the turn 1 and 2 wall, especially exit turn number 2, should be kind of purple from that Crown Royal, Justice, the amount of times that he's been up in the outside wall, but he's now trying to get by the 03. Here's Jake Williams trying to get by the 99 of Michael Call as this is a battle for 9th and 10th position. It looks like Call able to hold on for now. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, that 2 truck or here at Darlington, the turns don't have numbers up on the wall. A lot of places we go, like Texas, Kansas, Chicagoland, all have the numbers up on the wall. Turn 1, turn 2. Darlington does not, but I think that turn 2 wall has a 2 stamped on it from this Crown Royal truck at this point. So, 3rd through 5th continues to be under a blanket, Trevor. Maybe we get an Atlanta-like finish out of these guys. I think that somebody's going to make a dive, make a little mistake, and they're going to end up 3x3 here in just a minute.
Could be 3 wide finish. Could be a late caution. You never know. If we're going to see a late race caution, this is going to be the spot that we're going to see it between Clint Cox, Kyle Diaz, and Jack Clemens as they race for 2nd or 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right now, the 2 machine trying to get to the inside of the 03. No contact made. A little bit of a wiggle there as that battle up front still continues to be at about a half a second here with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, these guys continue to battle really hard here, wanting to get all the points they can, right? Right now, they're watching the series points leader just drive away in second. Burns up there in the lead. And we see a little bump there from the 03 into the back of the 26. These guys starting to disagree over track position. I expect this to only get worse as we cross the line here with 2 to go for these guys. I mean, battle for the lead kind of is what it is, but these boys said, hey, I'm willing to wreck you for third.
Battle for the lead, non-existence. Jeremy Burns just looking for the white flag as the 03 up into the wall comes down over to the 2. And if this is going to be a caution, it's going to have to happen here through 3 and 4. Burns out of turn number 4, looking to cross the line for the white flag, make this race official. Clemens trying to get to the inside of the 03 of Clint Cox. This race is official. Next flag ends it as Burns continues to hold the gap 0.7 of a second as he looks to go back-to-back this week over the 54 of Caleb Gilbert as he exits turn number 2, and Justice is clear sailing for him down the back straightaway.
Yeah, dominant performance tonight from this 72 machine. Deserves to get through 3 and 4 here cleanly. Lead his 81st lap of the night, and the most important one, the one that gets him the checkered flag into that window net. Good win here by Mountain Man, followed by his teammate in second, Caleb Gilbert.
Gilbert comes home second. Diaz is going to be the driver coming home in third. And then I believe it's going to be then Clint Cox, Jack Clemens, the top 5 with Al Likens, Nick Alves, Grant Thorpe, Michael Call, and Jake Williams rounding out the top 10. And Justice, we're going to talk to our race winner here in a moment after he gets up there and does some celebratory donuts. But dominant from the time he rolled off the truck here tonight. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Didn't get the stage win, but it didn't matter as Burns goes back-to-back Watkins Glen and Darlington.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely put a spanking on the field. Just 81 laps led out of 147 lets you know that once he was out front, he was the man to beat. Qualified on pole, was fastest in practice, fastest all night. Proved it once again, and if you're Caleb Gilbert, the bridesmaid tonight, not the bride, crazy had the second fastest truck all night and isn't going to lead a single lap. I don't know that that's ever been a thing, even when Martin Truex decided to lead 390 laps at the Coke 600 that one time. So pretty crazy. But we have the race winner in the booth with us, Jeremy Burns. Big night tonight, buddy. 81 laps led. Didn't even let your teammate there sniff the lead there at the end. So how's this one feel?
It feels so good. Had a couple heartbreakers here at Darlington in the past, so really good to finally get one done here, and not to mention in the College Series truck. Actually, the first time I've ever won this truck on a broadcast, so really cool to get all those accomplishments done tonight. And I mean, I'm just gonna celebrate because Darlington is such a special track, man. It's so unique and really takes a really good driver to drive it. So this one stands out just because, like I said, there's been a lot of hard-fought trials here, and finally able to get it done tonight.
Burns, you get it done back-to-back weeks. So we go Richmond next week, but with this being Darlington, I know it's the trucks. I know it's not like the Cup car, but how do you feel this sets you up for the Cup Series race here in a couple of days?
I think that sets me up really nicely. I think that, the cars drive a little bit different, right, between the car and the truck, but overall, I think that I found ways to set up passes tonight on people, so that was really nice and really good experience for Wednesday, and, hopefully, we can, fingers crossed, get the same result on Wednesday, but I know I'm going to have to be racing guys like you and, Rob and Caleb and all them. They're going to be coming back with a vengeance, so really looking forward to it, but we're going to celebrate tonight and have some fun.
Well, Burns, you get it done back-to-back weeks. Congratulations on that. Richmond next week, though. What are your thoughts on going some short track racing after a road course and the Lady in Black?
Well, in the Wednesday league, I was lucky enough to come home with the checker flag, so really looking forward to it. Once again, it's my home track, so always looking to show out there, and we're actually sponsoring the race too. So overall, really looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. It's going to be short track racing. Hopefully, we limit the tempers, but we always like a little bit of entertainment. But overall, just really looking forward to it. And try to go for the three-peat next week.
Well, Burns, before we let you out of here to go celebrate with the I'm assuming the boys at Longwood, I'm thinking you're still there at college. Any shout outs you want to give us?
I'm actually home, so I just got home a couple weeks ago. But I got to shout out my mom and dad, putting a roof over my head. Josie and her dad, Steve. Hopefully he recovers nicely. He should be getting out of the hospital tomorrow. So wishing him a speedy recovery. Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, for continued support. Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, everybody over at Element X, Longwood University, everybody over there that's helping me kickstart some stuff over there. So I got to shout all them out and shout you guys up here in the booth. Y'all do a phenomenal job. And, you can really tell that true racers can commentate race the best. So really happy that you guys hopped on board and are starting this up. And I can't wait to go back and watch it.
Well, thank you, Burns, for the kind words. And again, congratulations on your win here tonight. Go celebrate it with the family. And we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yes, sir. Thank you, boys.
So our race winner, the 72 machine, Jeremy Burns, gets it done here tonight, back-to-back weeks. But we go from first place, Justice. Let's just roll right into it. Let's get the second place finisher, Caleb Gilbert, up here in the booth. Caleb, Trevor, and Justice, man. Yeah, you said it. You didn't think you had the short run speed. You kept it close there at the end. But how you feeling overall tonight with your performance?
And I never too happy to get second. I get it a lot. It feels like, but on a night like tonight, it's clear cut. You're the second best guy out there. Burns, he earned every bit of that. Unbelievable speed. Made some weird strategy calls at the beginning. It kind of paid off, kind of didn't. Got some stage points there, so probably would have been a little bit better, running hard, pitting, and then running hard again. But second fastest truck on the track on the long run all night. Just finished where I should have. I really went that last 10, 15 laps. I put the tail between the legs and gave it everything I had, and it's a little demoralizing. I'm like, oh, I got it now, and then the guys, you're just that little bit faster than you in those laps. You're like, all right, I have nothing. So I'm happy with second on a night like tonight. Burns was in his own world.
Yeah, so kind of same question we leaned into with Burns, Caleb. Anything other than laps on track, right? That always helps. But anything that you feel like you can translate over to Wednesday night as we try to tame this same beast in the Cup cars?
It's pretty similar through 1 and 2. On the long run, you're going to see a lot more off throttle time in 1 and 2. I hate how much throttle goes in on the exit of 2 in the trucks. Getting into 3 and 4. I don't think I hit the wall a single time down there. It's a lot easier to do in that Cup car if you're running the fence. Misjudge it, but there are ways to downshift and keep yourself off of it. It'll translate. I say 85-90% of your line, where you're entering, things like that. There's just a few little things that are a lot different in the Cup car from the trucks, at least at Darlington itself. So hopefully that's some good experience going forward.
Well, Caleb, you came into tonight as the points leader. You get yourself some stage points and a pretty good points night, but a couple of weeks left. You got Richmond, Talladega, Dover, Homestead. I mean, how are you feeling about your chances of potentially going out there and securing the inaugural championship here in the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series?
That's the goal. Feel confident about it. Just got to keep putting together strong finishes. I think my average finish coming into this race was 4.8, so that's going to go down, I guess you could say, a little bit. Those tracks coming up, though, they're, wild cards. Richmond, I'm okay there. Not wrecking myself, getting wrecked. And then same thing, of course, at Talladega, just wild cards. And then Homestead and Dover, more traditional. You're going to finish where you should. So get through the next two with the lead that I got now. I feel good about it, but we'll tackle that beast when we get there.
All right. Well, Caleb, we're excited to see how the rest of the season's going to go for you. But before we let you out of here, any shout outs you want to give us?
Of course, as always, the team, Burns, for any little tips and tricks he's got. He's always a big help. Anything I can give him, vice versa. He gave me the Robert Raider line, I like to call it, where I might not have that line. If I can get behind him and run 5 laps, I'm set for the rest of the race. Shout out to those guys. That's usually a good go-to when you get in that spot. Everybody that goes into this league, all the admin teams working a little bit of overtime, probably tonight. You guys up in the booth. Hopefully that was a good mix of some interesting moments, some good green flag racing, a little bit of strategy here and there. So hopefully you guys had fun in the booth, and I appreciate everything that you guys put into this.
Fun as always covering you guys here on Monday night. Caleb, congratulations again on your second place finish, and we will see you next week at Richmond.
Thanks, fellas.
That was the second place finisher, the 54, Caleb Gilbert. Now we get our third place finisher, the 26 machine, Kyle Diaz. And Kyle, you had a heck of a battle with Kevin there at one point in the race. You get kind of saved by the caution flag, and another great battle there to the end. How are you feeling about your race as a whole here tonight?
Well, first things first, I'm absolutely tired from the freaking crazy racing that we had here at Darlington tonight. This track is physically taxing, and yeah, that battle right there with Kevin was pretty crazy. We had a little bit of bumping and banging right there, but I had a good time.
So you got to learn a little lesson, Kyle. I don't know how much you've learned in your time here, but a little lesson in what it's like to pass that 27 truck. Anything that you carry over next time, things you learn. There's going to be some guys listening intently to this answer, but anything you would apply next time, put in that same situation, try to get by him a little quicker.
Yeah, he was definitely difficult to pass, but I was able to initially get around him because he slipped up, I'm pretty sure, into 3 and 4, and he kind of got pushed towards the wall, and I was able to get around on the inside. And from there, we were kind of just like in a full-on battle. Like he was right on my tail, pressuring me the whole time. It was pretty fun right there with him.
Well, Kyle, we've asked the other two drivers this, so we might as well just make it 3 for 3. You're running tonight. Obviously, you're going to run, be a part of the Wednesday night racing. Is there anything you could take from tonight and apply it to Wednesday night?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I will take some things tonight, like just the way you run the track, because like you just gotta run a similar line, I guess, to the Cup Series car. But it's overall just like a good track to just get lap time or track time on. Just any time you can get here is beneficial for any car, I feel like.
Well, Kyle, congratulations on the third place tonight. Before I let you out of here, any shout outs you want to give us?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my team, Racing for Freedom. Just proud of the showing that we put out all the time. Uh, just sometimes we just maybe not get the results, but I know we're just a great team, and I'm proud of the stuff that we do. And just shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and just had a good time tonight.
Well, Kyle, thank you. And congratulations again on the third, and we will see you next week at Richmond.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Third place finisher, Kyle Diaz. And Justice, it was a great race, mixture of some short runs, a lot of long runs, and then a couple of cautions sprinkled in the middle of it. But overall, for a Darlington race, I got to say, that was a pretty good race.
Yeah, these boys put on an absolute show for us tonight, Trevor. You love to see the long runs here at Darlington because, like we've talked about all night, the tire wear is pretty heavy. So you want to see who's the best at saving it. But then we got a little mix of a short run there to the end. You kind of had it in the middle there, a little 18 laps to the end. So you kind of got to see a flash of everything. That's all you can ever ask for out of the race. Racing throughout the field, tight, good all night, bumping and banging. You like to see the bumping and banging, but that's part of racing. So I expect more of that as we go to Richmond next week. Maybe some more use of the bumpers and maybe some more use of the tempers. So cannot wait to see how that plays out, Trevor.
Yeah, looking forward to next week at Richmond when we get there. But for tonight, here for the KSX racing. You know what? I told you I was going to do it, Justice, earlier today, and I absolutely, there it is. I butchered the title sponsor of the race. Trevor Keith, I do apologize, good sir, on this. The KSX Racing Graphics 200 from tonight at Darlington forever for us here in the Revo Racing Network booth. Myself, Trevor Earhart, Justice Murphy, and of course Rob Rader running the wonderful production. That's going to be it for tonight. But be sure to tune back in Monday nights as we go to Richmond. We are done on Thursdays for the TTR Short Track Series. But if you missed some of the races, please be sure to go check them out in the replay section of the YouTube channel, as there were some absolute fantastic racing there over the course of their short season that we covered, especially that championship finale. And if you want more Darlington action, hey, check out V Speed Wednesday night for the Racing Revolution Cup Series. But for all of us up here in the booth, and for and for everybody at home, thank you for tuning in. We will see you again on Monday night.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.